Alright folks, I'm back again. This is a continuation of the last video that I made where I showed that it is possible to brush paint with Tamiya acrylics, then with AK Interactive to lay down a really nice, flat, smooth brush paintable coat. And on this gorgeous scale 75 bust that I've already undercoated, I've used Mr. Surfacer with a bit of a zenithal highlight there. Not quite zenithal, it's sort of, as you can see, kind of coming in that direction, because as you can see here, that arm is in shadow, so I'm trying to create a little bit more interest, and instead of just having a top-down lighting effect, I'm having kind of cross lighting, sort of coming from top left a little bit more. Also trying to work with the design of the figure too, so in fact that the way that cross belt sort of follows down, that's literally the way that the light's gonna hit her. So I'm gonna be using the same color that I tested out yesterday, which is this Tamiya dark yellow XF60. I thin it down with a bit of AK thinner, acrylic thinner, and brush paint. A bit of an undercoat. An undercoat for this leather cross belt, which I'll start putting some filters or washes over to start to give it some body. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this works. And yes, so let's get underway. Just move out of the way for a second. A few drops in this palette. To make it thinner. That's just enough. It's probably about a 60-40 mix now of Tamiya acrylic to AK thinner. I've just scored a new pair of reading glasses today. Let's turn this around so I can see them. These are not quite as strong as my other ones, but I found the other ones are a little bit too strong for everyday use, and I just want to see how these go with my Optivisor, which I've just also recently purchased, which is I always used to get these cheaper sort of Optivisors off, well, not Optivisors, the magnifying devices off eBay and Amazon and the like. And I had another one that was like basically a cheaper version of this, but I thought I would splash some cash and get a proper Donegan optical, which is, if you can see, got these really thick milled glass. This is a 3.5 magnifying capacity lens attachment that you can pop in, and you can go down to 2.75. This is the strongest one, and because my eyes are not what they used to be, so they need help. Rightio, let's get underway. I'm going to lay down some of this brushable, now brushable, Tamiya acrylic paint. Just test it out. This bit of paper seems to be pretty good thickness. Oh, I'm not sure, that wasn't in view. Sorry about this. Be gentle. I am new to this whole thing. I've changed the camera angle as well, or the phone camera angle, just so I can get a little bit closer to the working area. I'm not out of shot, which I was a few times yesterday. This doesn't have to be perfect, but I don't really want to go outside of the lines too much. Interesting, this I didn't load the brush up too much, but this just flows so well. Alrighty, I've changed the camera angle again because I just realised that I was really going out of shot then, and I am, like I said, very new to this whole YouTube malarkey. I'm going to get a finer brush too, because the one that I'm using is a little bit clunky to get into some of the finer details. So, bear with me a second. I need, where are my brushes? There they are. It's a nice semi-opaque, which is what I want. I might lay down a couple of coats to really get a nice under layer that I can work on. One of the things I'm interested in with this is how much more resilient this Tamiya acrylic is when I work over it with washes and the like. Just ended up taking off my optivisor and using these readers because I just headbutted the phone. It's not really ideal. And look, like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to lay down a good body. I don't even know if I need to. Don't really know if I need to do a second layer. This is just so nice and matte and smooth. I'm really sold on this brush paintable Tamiya Acrylics method that Calvin Tan has discovered, introduced, touted. You know, it's it is like, to be honest, I am finding this even more smooth and easy to sort of deal with than I do regular Vallejo acrylics. You know, kind of varies from colour to colour. Some of the pigments, you know, there is, I think, a bit of variation with Vallejo paints. Some of them can be more like a heavy body acrylic, and others just don't have that opacity and that level of body. They kind of do vary a little bit. They can be a bit inconsistent. So go back to this. Get the focus. Go back to this thicker brush, just because it's a nice thick area here of this cross belt. This is where I can really test this out and see how smoothly this goes down. A few of these painting handles. Quite like this one because I can kind of, it's good for busts. I can kind of, you know, really lean over it or get a good sort of sense of tension on it with my other hand to control where I'm going without putting my paws all over the paintwork. And you know, bare skin does have a fair bit of natural oil in it, and it definitely can sometimes mar what you've previously done. And I've noticed that I've had to go back and touch up. Now this thing's in the way. I'm actually going to take this off because it's going to, I don't really need that at the moment. And yeah, especially on smaller, say 35th scale or 54mm figures, you know, they can be quite fragile, especially, you know, when you're using acrylic. Vallejo acrylic, which I tend to normally use. I actually been using Calvin Tan's flesh set. That's one of my cats being needy for something, milk. Anyway, yeah, so this is what I've done the basic sort of flesh tones with. They're a little pinkish at the moment. I'm going to end up going back and adding a lot more dimension to it. More glazes, a bit more of a sort of ochre kind of hue. Now, it's strange, if I was using Vallejo acrylics, I just find that they dry a lot quicker on the brush. This definitely feels like it's almost acting like a bit of a drying retarder. It's just not drying as quickly as I'm used to. So this is an entirely new kind of experience that I'm having with using this, and you're seeing it in the raw. You know, I haven't done this before. I've never brush painted acrylics on an actual model, only on a bit of scrap plastic, which I demonstrated yesterday, and also to pre-test it by that adding water to see if it's separated and was, you know, compatible, ready to be thin with AK acrylic thinner, and that proved to be passable, and therefore good to go. Just walk into these little corners there, just tightening up some very hard to reach places, like down there next to her cleavage. And yeah, gave it a bit of a second coat too, just so it was a lot more opaque. A good base to do any overpainting and glazing, washes, and I'll leave this overnight. It's getting quite late here, and come back after work tomorrow and carry on. But this is just really something else, this technique that Calvin Tan's pointed out. I'll definitely be using this again in the future. I'll see if I can zoom in a little bit. It just has created such a lovely, smooth, matte coat. There's a bit of dust there. I'm going to get this little fleck of dust off. These are quite handy, these tools from Display. They're for wicking out when you do washes, oil washes. You can sort of, or acrylic I imagine too, any excess out of panel lines or crevices. Yeah, I think I've got that. Let's bring that back into focus. But yeah, very successful. Very happy with that. Okay. Thanks for watching, folks, and I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe and help me grow this channel over time. It's all a work in progress, and your support is very much appreciated. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.